By now, or close to it. Thanks for the time, a few minutes we just spent in the office. I was going to ask you some other questions till I ran into some folks at the elevator who are concerned over the proposed 83,000 cuts in the VA. And they asked me specifically, would I publicly oppose those cuts? I said, I can't. They said, what do you know about these cuts? What do you know where they are? Are they potential cuts that will improve access, outcomes, or cost? So my question to you, what I did tell them, though, is I don't believe cuts are real unless there's a rescissions package sent to the U.S. Congress so that we codify those cuts. And so my commitment to the folks that I was talking to was when I see that rescissions package, if it's at odds with what I consider to be in the best interest of the VA, I may vote against it. But right now, can you give me an idea of how you would rack and stack each of those 83,000 jobs and where you are in that process? And can we expect at some point in the future to have a rescissions package?
Yes, Senator. I think the biggest thing here is, I think what we've got to understand is when you start out in any business, and I don't care what side of the aisle you're on, when you go out to look at somebody, you just don't go say, just go do something. That's been happening at the VA and many agencies in the federal government for a long time. And typically what you get is a spattering of this. You get some who are interested, some are not. So when you look and you put a 15% number within which everybody characterizes, and I've been, accused of firing 80,000 people here, which is not true. Nobody can predict that. And also no one in this dais on either side of the aisle can say that many people is going to be fired, because this is the reason. When you take a 470,000 person organization and you begin to look at its efficiencies, you begin to look at the fact that between the hospitals and the central office, you have added significant layers of bureaucracy that go into this. You can't do it. So we're looking at every step we can, but also I'm not going to play it out in a public arena, because that's the other time is if we start saying, here's everything we're looking at, then you start in a pre-decisional kind of format, you're not working it.
Look, I get it. What I tried to explain to them, I asked them, and I think some of them may be in the audience. I want to note that I heard you. But I asked them, how do you rack and stack it? Tell me which specific positions you're concerned with. Obviously, they don't know the answer to that because I don't know the answer to that. But here's the problem, folks. Is the VA just great? Do we just put it on autopilot? Because that's the question. When people say don't change, I'm saying, right, so you're happy with the current state. You're happy with a poorly implemented PACT Act that I tried to get people to hold off on until we got it right. Now we're dealing with a shortfall there. So look, don't be against something because it's new. And by the way, any of you need it, I got extra copies of Who Moved My Cheese in the office. We've got to move the cheese in the VA, folks, because we're not performing. When's the last time I've heard people stand at a parade and say appointments are rocking? Boy, they're doing great. When's the last time I heard that the electronic health record's great? Some folks need to lose their job on a poor implementation, and I've got your assurance that they're moving forward. Folks, the VA is not working for veterans. And if we just say everything has to stay the same and you just got to have more money and more people, you're looking at it the wrong way. Maybe at some point when we prove that we're improving access, improving outcomes, or reducing cost, when those policies come before me, then I get excited. But in the meantime, I'm open to anything that's going to improve the service to people and make an installment on a debt that we can never fully repay. But we need to be honest with these veterans and tell them change is necessary to do that. And so to the veterans that I met with outside the hallway today, you recorded it, but you can use this response. This response is, I'm open to any suggestion that improves the condition for veterans, period. And I can't say no to something because it makes me feel uncomfortable. I don't know if it's 83,000, 8,000, or 800, but I have confidence in you to go through that process. And at the end of the day, I will make a judgment on your decisions because I would expect a rescissions package to make sure that those positions are not going to be approved in the future. And that's how I will complete my job as a U.S. Senator. But in the meantime, I'm not going to say don't change because we have to change to do a better job for veterans, folks. And we have to be a little bit uncomfortable in going through it. Thank you.
Thanks, Senator. I couldn't agree with you more, and I think the interesting thing that I came in here today was, again, hearing some of the comments and opening statements and stuff. I would almost thought that that up until January of this year, there was no problems in the VA.
Like nothing to see here.
Nothing to see. So the minute we start trying, can we make things better? My only criteria that I have is looking forward in this is making sure that we're taking care of the veterans first. That is the only criteria that we're looking at going through that. And if that means we reshape the workforce, we do. That means if it goes, a goal is whatever a goal is. But at the end of the day, the metric is, are we taking care of veterans?
Senator Hassan.